ask you a question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. And this is based on you. Boundaries, standards, on your relationship.
Yeah.
With
my wife.
Has there anything been recent that, where you like have to lay down the law? Like, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
Not happening.
Yes. My wife.
If you want to explain.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck. I love you. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Man First Podcast. I am Mix.
I'm J0.
All right. So for everybody that doesn't know, J0 just had a birthday not too long ago. So he just turned, how old are we now?
25, man.
25.
This is what people be telling me.
J0 just turned 25, folks.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm 42 now, man.
42.
Feels like 42.
Yeah, so you're feeling the 42 is
not
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, well,
starting to realize I can't do the things I used to do. Can't stay up at night no more.
Man. Hey, man, we ain't 38 no more, right?
That was like 4 years ago.
All right, y'all can find us on, go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to like, subscribe, comment on all of our videos. We got shorts on there and all stuff like that. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. We got a lot of stuff on there that you can find some enjoyment out of. We're going to be doing a whole lot more in the future as well. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about, for men specifically, Man First Podcast, we're going to be talking about how important it is to have boundaries and standards for day-to-day life. Now, this can be including with women. This can be including with
work,
coworkers. This can be family.
Friends.
We had a conversation not too long ago. Everybody was at my house, and we were talking about how sometimes even family, they just invite themselves into your space. Like not your house, but your life. You know what I mean? And there comes a certain time where you just got to be like, no, like, no.
That's a magical word.
No, right?
Yeah.
And what's very telling is when you say the word no to people who care about you and you care about, and you tell them no, not like I'm above you or I'm better than you or how dare you even ask me, but just like I'm not doing that. And they get offended.
Yeah.
You've had those experiences recently.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
So let's just say it. Oh man, please don't hate me, family. But yeah, it was a situation where, I truly believed, that stepping up, taking charge, hey, you man of the house, you gotta take care of things and stuff like that. But where's the actual man for this house? Like, it's like I became that replacement, like
you're next in line. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to even like, I still don't understand that concept in a sort of way, but yeah, I guess you could definitely say, but it was more of a replace, not of a next in line. Like, you need to step up because you're next in line. I understand somebody passes away, the man passes away, but the man is there, but he's gone and he's somewhere else and he's living the life. He's living that no responsibility, that no, hey, I ain't got to worry about this no more. So therefore I get to focus on myself, life easier. I come into that role, I got to worry about those things,
Right.
Just stepping up and, whatchamacallit. But I got to a point where I was like, no, not doing it. Because I started to realize, and I think I said this in a previous podcast, that you're taking away my time. It's like I'm putting my time into other people, and therefore it's dwindling. Like, I'm wasting it. I don't want to say wasted because, they say, oh, what a real man actually does take care of things.
You know where I hear that from the most? Women. Oddly enough, women know a lot about what a real man would do.
Yeah.
But they can't seem to keep them.
Bro. And that's the show, everybody.
Canceled. Again.
Man, you just can't hold back.
I can't, man. Like, it just gets in me. I got to get it out.
I was trying my best not to say it, but that was definitely the situation, man. Like, yeah, it's just my time. I realized that my time is very important and I can't get things done if I'm giving it to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, like, there's been times where I've been asked to do certain things, help out or whatever, and there are times where I just can't. You know what I mean? Like I was in the Navy for all those years. I was gone, so obviously I couldn't really do much with the family. I was stationed here, stationed there, out of the country, out of the whatever, out of state. There's times I just couldn't do anything. And then when you get back, it's, you know, what's up?
He just flew across me.
Oh, I thought you saw like a snake or something.
That guy.
You looked up real fast.
He's in the podcast, man. He wants to be a part of it.
So there were times where, you know, I'd be home and people say, oh, can you help out with that? Can you help out with that? And like, I will if I can. But if I can, I'm going to tell you I can't do it. You know, and sometimes, and I've been fortunate. I haven't had much incidents where people are offended when I say no, family wise, friend wise, or coworker, whatever. When you say no to somebody, they get offended.
Oh, I was the yes man. You know, I don't know if you've seen that movie, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey saying yes to almost every single thing.
Well, that was a challenge more than a yes man is typically somebody who is just too. What's the word? Is this too? They don't want to say no to him. They're a pleaser. They're a people pleaser.
I was a people pleaser.
Okay,
There you go. I'm sorry. I know Jim Carrey was more of a challenge.
Right. That was a different setup.
But I was kind of like the yes man. Like, you know, I was like saying, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. Yeah, I'll come over and fix that. This. Yeah, and I didn't really get anything for it. You know,
you get the joy of knowing you helped somebody.
Bro,
I'm just, hey.
I know that's, you know, it's you're a good person if you do it, but
but you got to remember, there's sometimes people are asking just ridiculous stuff that you want no part in,
right?
And saying no is uncomfortable for some people.
Yeah.
For a while, I never wanted people to not like me.
Yeah.
Most of my teen years.
That was my big.
I wanted to be the guy that everybody was cool with, everybody liked, and everybody didn't have no beef with, no smoke, whatever they say nowadays. You know, I didn't want any problems with anybody. So I always try to be cool with everybody. I try to fit in with everybody. If they said this was the thing, I wanted to do that thing. If they said, oh, we got to do this, I wanted to do that. I wouldn't do anything illegal or anything, but I was sacrificing who I was to satisfy them.
Yeah.
You know, because I wanted to be a part of that group. I didn't set any boundaries. And I never did until I left for the Navy when I was like 20 or 21, around that time. Cause I started to just be like, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I don't fuck these people, you know, like you get nothing for satisfying other people. And there's way too many people in the world for us to satisfy everybody. It's impossible. It's an impossible task. So whenever you hear about somebody just being a people person or a people pleaser or whatever like that, it's a sad story.
Yeah.
Because you make all this effort for other people, and those are the ones you hear about that get done dirty the worst, because now they're asking for a favor and they won't reciprocate.
Yeah.
So I've been through that. I know you've been through that, you know, in terms of have you had that happen with work?
Yeah.
Like you take somebody's shift and then now it's their time to hook you up, but they're like, oh, I can't, man, I'm too busy or something.
Yeah. I wouldn't say with work, because, you know, I was a truck driver. I was pretty much, I just know I was the go-to guy. And sometimes they would want me to work more hours and sort of way and stuff like that. But, you know, it got to a point where I would tell them, hey, I'm kind of tired. Can I get my day off, you know, or whatever, you know, because it seems as if other people are getting their days off. They're getting whatchamacallit, you know, they get to go home and enjoy themselves in a sort of way. But, you know, I know I was putting myself that guy, because I kept on telling them, you know, I'm your guy, and, you know, hey, you want me to work, I'll work and whatever. But I think there's a certain limit, like, you know, I think also with pay too, man. Like, oh my God, I actually had to call them and tell them, hey, what's going on with my paycheck? I did all these miles, but they're not reflecting on my paycheck.
Right.
Oh, well, let's take a look at it real quick.
Like, oh, look at that.
Exactly what happened, man.
What do you know?
I'm starting to wonder if, since I said it.
I am so glad you brought this to our attention.
They said exactly that. You know, I'm really glad you actually called and said something, man. This is a problem. And if you ever do feel like this,
thank you for coming and talking to us about this. Now we can know what to look for next time.
I'm starting to wonder now that I said something, they started saying like, yo, we got this guy's not working for free no more.
He figured it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to wonder.
We're gonna
now,
try to milk him for as long as we could.
Yeah, it's funny because it wasn't even a week or two. No, it was probably about a month. But they actually started giving me better jobs because I was telling them, it seems like you guys are keeping me on a short leash because I think I wasn't getting that many jobs. But then they started giving me more, and that's when I guess I think I even messaged like, "Yo, man, they keeping me busy, bro." I didn't think they would, but yeah, I was telling them like, "Yo, I did these many miles, and I'm starting to see that certain trips are not even there." Like, like I'm actually looking at it now, and I'm like wondering why I did all these miles, and yeah, but that was definitely a thing with work, man.
You know what's interesting about that is whenever, I remember my RDC in boot camp. He was telling me that he wanted to go to a ship. He was a DC, damage controlman.
Yeah.
He was a DC. He was like a 5-year E6. That's, or 6, 7, whatever. But he got EPs because he was that awesome apparently. So he was a highly motivated person, and he told us that any ship he wanted to go to a ship that was the most busted down ship. Because he wanted to be a part of what made that ship great.
The growth, yeah.
Right. He wanted to leave, looking back, said that ship is the way it is because of me. And, me and people around me, And I was like, that's an interesting, because I'm 20. I've never have that attitude, you know what I mean? I was lazy as shit back in those days. I'm still kind of am. But I was like, that's interesting. But in practice, if you ain't about that shit, don't even try to pretend. Because when you become the go-to guy, people tend to go to you a lot. You're now the reliable person, and when you're not in a position to leverage that, that's the worst position to be in, because now people take advantage of you. You advertise yourself as the guy, the
who gets shit done,
that gets stuff done, right? This whole thing falls apart without this guy. But if you can't leverage that sway or that necessity of your involvement, they're just going to take advantage of you. So I think a valuable aspect of this whole thing that we're talking about is know your worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Know your value, man.
Know your value. We always hear about the wage gap.
I was wondering if you're going to go there.
Yes. We're
about to cut.
We always hear about the wage gap, right? And one of the big arguments is, men get paid 7 more cents to the dollar than a woman does, or a woman gets paid 93 cents to the dollar that a man makes. Well, if you just leave it there, sure, it's true, and it sounds horrible. But if you dig a little deeper and you try to understand the why that is, you'll realize that most women don't work as long as men, don't work the same amount of hours. There are some professions, high-paying professions, careers that pay higher than others. For instance, the difference between what a doctor makes and what a nurse makes. Most doctors are men. Most nurses are women. So if you compare that, obviously the men are going to make more money in that profession, right?
Right.
So if you do it across the board, you'll see that there are more men truck drivers, there are more men janitors, there are more men in the STEM fields, there are more men in this. These are higher paying jobs. So that understands that. Another aspect is when men are more likely to ask for more money when they get the job. Women,
we actually negotiate.
Right. Women, this is tested and examined, and statistics are statistically less or more agreeable. Men tend to be more or less agreeable. So a man is more likely to ask for more money than a typical female would. So don't get me wrong. There are women that will not work for a certain dollar amount. There's some badass women out there that demand certain things because they bring that value, right? Same thing with men. But even men can take a job knowing that the job's limit or the job's market value is like $20 an hour. But they'll hit you with some line like, we're rebuilding right now, man. We need to start you off at 15. Then after about 6 months, we'll be able to reevaluate after see what the market is. And there are some dudes that will take the job.
Yeah.
And then they'll never ask, what about that 20?
I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, just from what I'm hearing, I'm not going to say I have the data or the polls to say that, but I think that what I've been noticing is that I think we actually talked about it in a previous podcast about, jobs and being fired in a sort of way.
Mhm.
But we said that, you're getting hired, but you're not just getting hired for, one job. You're actually getting hired for multiple positions now. Therefore, they are paying you at that one job.
The lowest paying
Yeah,
job.
the lowest
Yeah.
paying, but
Mhm.
that's just crazy, bro. So,
But here's the thing, though. If they tell you that in the interview and you accept it,
yeah.
that's off them. You know what I mean? That's off of their shoulders
But
now.
people feel like they have no choice because,
Yep.
they have a life, they have a family to
Yep.
feed, they got a home to take care of.
That's where that leverage comes in. I was telling you now, the job.
Yeah, the
job
employers
has the
have
leverage.
power
Yeah,
now,
yeah. The job has the
Oh.
leverage.
You got a whole lot of firing going on. Like, I don't know if you noticed, man.
I laid off federal employees, but I ain't laughing about it.
I
but
know. I mean,
Elon, come on, man. Calm down a little bit, bro.
we're not trying to get rid of people. We're trying to make things more efficient.
more efficient. That's the E in Doge.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, but whenever there's an opportunity for a company to make more money, they're gonna take it.
Oh, yeah.
And if that means they're gonna let go of some people, cut wages on some people, if they know the market is not employee friendly, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
When the market, for instance, car sales, if every other dealership is offering a horrible pay plan and their pay plan is also horrible, but of all the horrible ones, it's not that bad. It's like not the worst.
Mm-hmm.
They have nothing stopping them from making it even worse.
Yeah.
Because where are you going to go? There's dealerships right now, bro. I was told, I don't know if it's for 100% truth, that they get paid, I think, $200 per car that they sell. The average car salesman, sells anywhere between 12 to 15 cars. Or 10 to 12, 10 to 15, around there, 10 to 15. We'll just say 10 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
10 cars at $200 each. That's $2,000. What can you do with $2,000 a month?
That is gone.
In
Probably 2 weeks, maybe,
in
right?
1993, that was some good money. 2,000, that's rent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. You know what I mean? That's rent. Back in the 90s, rent was like $400, $600, $800 to get you a nice place. But now, bro, $2,000.
That's where I need to get myself at. I ain't gonna lie.
Man.
Yeah, bro.
But it's all about knowing your value. So if you're a high value person, not person, but if you're a high value worker or you have these skills and a job needs a certain thing and you are able to provide that, know your worth, know your value. And that's just talking from the job. Let's go back to family. If your time that you spend with your family, if the time that you spend with your family is interrupting something that you could be doing to build or create something, that can't be just brushed over because it's family or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be recognized like, look, I'm going to do this for you, but I don't owe you this.
Right.
You're not entitled to my time.
Mm-hmm.
I like family.
Mom?
I love. Whoa, hey, I would never say
Mom?
that about you. I can't believe you just said that about that wonderful woman. How dare you?
I love my mom, bro. I love my mom, but bro.
I know, I'm just saying things. No, it's like, God, I can go a whole other route with that, but I'm not gonna, because I have respect for her, and she never did me wrong, and she's always been kind and wonderful to me.
She's probably saying thank you.
I got your back.
She's probably. I'm telling you, that's exactly what she would say.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Move on.
Yeah. No, she's always been nice, man. But you've been way more involved than I have, obviously. But I mean, anyway, but no. But just because family's asking us for stuff, money, come over, help do something. If I have the time to do it, of course I'll do it.
Right.
Because I'd be a horrible whatever brother, uncle, whatever. I'd be horrible if I can do it, but I choose not to. If I've been working 12-hour days for like 5 days straight, and it's Saturday and it's 8:00 at night, and I just got home, and they say, "Hey, I need you to come over, help me move this something." Like, bro, I'm not doing it. I'm tired. I am exhausted. I can't do it. Now, this has never happened, but if he were to say like, "Oh man, it's messed up, bro. You never click." Like I can't. I'm sorry. If I can't do it, I'm not gonna do it. If I can do it, I'll definitely do it.
I mean, I don't want to sound selfish, but I think men need to be selfish to a certain amount of extent. Like I said, I do have my own life, and I'm sorry. Like I said, I do value my time. The moment I start putting my time into other people, I better be getting something out of it, because I think time is a very, it's just very important to me, and I always try to tell friends, whatchamacallit, man, I gotta work, man. And I gotta make this money. I wish I can take this trip with you. I wish I can go visit you and take that drive or whatever. I wish I can take a day off, but hey, man, I mean, if I feel as if it's really valuable, like I want to say, for instance, your games, I think it's valuable. I enjoy it, and I also like to be social. I want to be in a social environment, because I think that's also very important. And I'm sorry if I didn't go over your house and put up a TV.
Oh.
No, I was talking about a different situation. But,
gotcha.
But sorry I didn't go over to your house or whatever. But there's things I like doing. There's things I find more priority than what you want me to prioritize.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, that's just that's why I believe why men should really value their time, value themselves in general.
You said some people might find it selfish, and to anybody who does find that what you just described as selfish, let me bring it to this: when you're on an airplane, and let's say it loses pressure, what happens? The masks drop down, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do they tell you to do? The first thing you're supposed to do, what do they say? They say take the mask.
Yeah. The mask drops down. Doesn't it? Yeah.
They say take the mask, put it on your face before you try to help anybody else.
Right.
Why do they say that? Because if you're trying to help other people and you can't breathe, you're going to pass out, and now you can't help anybody. So if you're trying to take care of other people before taking care of yourself, you're basically just hurting yourself. Now, by way of hurting yourself, you're not hurting everybody. So I wouldn't say what you just said was selfish. I would say it's most logical. If you can't work, you can't help anybody. If you can't put out something, some type of product or some type of service or whatever, and you can't generate money, ultimately you won't be able to help anybody, let alone yourself. And if you are taking time away from work to help somebody else, you might make enough money to take care of yourself, but you won't be able to help anybody else. Because if you help anybody else, now you can't take care of yourself. So I don't see it selfish. It's just the most logical.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bringing this up. Let's say you have a friend, I
have no friends.
Let's just say you do. Let's just say you do have a friend. And
can I call him John?
You could call him John. Why John?
I don't know.
Okay, let's say John
All right.
says, hey, he's never really made the effort to come see you in a sort of way, but it becomes a very big thing that, oh, you're about to miss this event. Oh, that's messed up. Hey, I expect you to be at this event, but John never ever made the effort to come see you, come hang out with you, come to your events, come to your stuff. But he's like weighing it way harsher than you weighing it on him.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So if I have some type of thing going on and I invite John, but John never comes, and then John has an event and I'm invited, but I don't go. Now he's offended that I didn't go.
Right.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've kind of ran into that kind of situation. And I wonder, I kind of do point out, like, I'm not holding my breath, you not coming to see me, man. Like, yo, oh well. Yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about, right? I think you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, he always says, hey, man, I'm gonna be in town. And he does come to town, but he hits
never comes by.
Doesn't even come by, swing by, and just to say, hey, I want to come see the place. I want to come see the studio. I want to come see what you built there. But he's got something going on.
Man,
I almost kind of feel bad because I was like, yeah, you're my bro, man.
Man. Look, all right. All right. Look.
I think I don't know if he watches this podcast. But,
probably not.
He probably doesn't. But
look, hey man, sometimes What's that song? Gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to ride away, know where to run. No, so he has his own life.
Right.
He's got his own attachments, his own situations going on. If he's going to take time out of his day to be angry that you're not doing for him what he's not doing for you, that's on him. I'm not offended by at all. I haven't talked to dude in like probably a couple years now.
Yeah.
I have no ill will towards
me and him have talked about that.
I have no ill will towards him. I mean, there was a situation, it wasn't really him. It was who was with him.
Yeah.
But I wasn't disrespectful. I kept it inside. I talked to him afterwards. I tried to be as nice as I could. I said, look, man, you're a better man than me because I wouldn't put up with that shit. And I just left it at that. Because for years, and you know this, same with you, I stayed away from y'all. And I regretted it because all that time that's valuable was lost, right? So I would never want to put myself in that position for something as minute as a female, right? So I would never want to purposely cut off that relationship that took years to form over something like that. So, but
you know, in a big defense for him, you know, like I said, he's like a brother to me now. Yeah. You know, I think there was a time where me and him had a conversation. And he asked me if I ever would take a bullet for him, and I said, "Fuck no." But it's got to
earn that, damn.
But
man.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he would take a bullet for me, but I was like, honestly, man, I wouldn't take a bullet for you,
bro. That's a cry for help.
But I kind of do understand now reason why I most likely would take a bullet for him now, because he has been there. You know, he has been, you know, actually, I don't say valuable, but like he has shown his how much he cares about our friendship in a sort of way. He actually hits me up, asks me how I'm doing, asks me how my dating life is going. He asks me, you know, like I said, he does a lot, even if he's not there physically, you know, right. Even if he hasn't made, he always tells me there's some type of excuse or reason why he didn't make it. I think we both know the reason why he kind of chooses. I
have no idea, Jay. What was the reason? I'm in the dark on this one. Why is he not sitting at this table right now doing this podcast with us?
Well, he lives far away. That's true. Okay. But I did make the effort of actually taking an hour and a half to drive up to him, you know, especially with, you know, things he's interested in a sort of way. And I always tell him that, hey, man, you know, it's all good. But, you know, I did tell him, I was like, yo, you should know, you know, you're an important guy. You know, you're like only friend that I have right now. If I really would think about it. I mean, you're my friend too, but
no, I heard what you said. Loud and clear.
What
buddy.
I'm saying is that, you know, hey, you actually do put in the effort unlike most anybody that I really know. So, you know, I kind of think about it. I don't know what I would do if you and my mom exited my life, you know, like, damn, I probably would totally shut down, bro. Like, people wouldn't even know I exist anymore. But you actually made me feel like I do exist. And, you know, I'm thankful of that.
Yeah. Even people that are that close, you know, to get back on topic, we're as human beings, we make mistakes, we make wrong choices, and we say the wrong things from time to time. So even people that are close to us can use that against. I'm not saying he is. I'm not making that accusation at all. But, you know, leaving him out of what I'm saying, but anybody, family members, friends, coworkers, you tell somebody how that you appreciate them.
Yeah.
If nothing else, like, dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for checking in on me. Sometimes people can use that against us.
Yeah.
And
true.
we fall into the trap that we owe something.
You
know what I mean? Then you start giving more than you're receiving, because now you're giving them more of your time. And then you start, okay, well, that's my guy. That's my work buddy. That's my work bro. That's my whoever. I got him because he's got me. And then one day you realize he doesn't got you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wait a minute. Have I been getting used this whole time? And then what does that do to your brain? Now, when you move forward, anybody you deal with, you kind of stand back at a distance.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait.
I find myself doing that a lot.
Wait a minute. I've been this close to people before. I didn't like how it turned out. So let me keep my distance.
isn't that a standard though? And you start putting standards on yourself, like, yo, I'm not gonna be that guy anymore. That's gonna get done that too, because what I experience.
Yeah, it affects. It's affected me in the past. I'm sure it's affected you. It's affected people listening. You know, our experiences determine, for better or for worse, how we live our lives. You know what I mean? Because there's no, I said this on the last podcast, there's no greater teacher than experience. We can talk all day about the what ifs and the who shoulds and who shouldn'ts and the this and that. Experience teaches us a whole lot. Bro, in romance, for my life, I learned so much through heart pain, through heartache. You know what I mean? Without naming names, you know the main ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Without that experience in life, I never would have met my wife. You know what I mean?
True.
I never would have been able to see her value, or her value to me, I'll say. I never would have been able to pick up on the little things, you know, because for me, you know, dating these girls in high school or whatever, you know, it's like, oh, she's my life, she's my world. No, she's fucking not. Like, she's just a girl that likes you and you like her. And no ill will towards them. I'm not rubbing anybody through the dirt. But without experience that pain that them fucking women caused me, I wouldn't value. I wouldn't know what it means to love and loss. So now I know if I actually do. For a long time, I didn't want it because I want to reject it. I want to push it away, just like we were just talking about. You're like, wait a minute. This happened last time. I don't want this. This is too much.
Not to tell you the truth, that's what I think I was explaining to, you know, the guy I was just talking about. I was telling him, I was like, yo, I think I've gotten to a point where I just don't want it. Like, I don't want to get close.
That's fear.
Yeah. I mean,
fear.
I told him, I was like, yo, I'm scared to death now, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, especially going down the rabbit hole, of course. And I actually told this girl, I was like, yeah, I'm trying my best to come out of this rabbit hole of these red flags, these standards, these boundaries that I put up, this brick wall that I built.
Yeah.
I want to find someone, but now I'm just scared. Like, yo, especially with that whole app with he told me about the app with finding these single mothers. And I'm like, bro, you're telling me to redo a repeat of what I did last time.
Well, think of it like this with that whole app situation. You're looking for burgers at a Pizza Hut.
What? Sometimes
you're looking.
Okay, well,
you're asking for a Big Mac at a Domino's Pizza. You know what I mean?
What's the problem? What's the problem?
What, they don't have those?
You guys need to expand. Well, you guys need to do.
if you're looking for a certain thing, you don't go to a dating app for single mothers. Like, obviously single mothers is not the thing you want.
No.
Right? So it makes.
I deleted it.
There you go. Yeah. So,
I deleted it. I was like, yo, this doesn't make sense.
But yeah, man, there's.
I'm not saying there's bad mothers or, you know, not good single women with kids out there. It's just, I don't see the point for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just my opinion. Like, I've been down that road, and I guess it's a standard or a preference now, you know, like, look, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
I mean, there's a level, going back to you saying that you're kind of.
But then you asked me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but then you asked me, so is it okay to find another 40-year-old or I guess an older woman that has no kids? Because isn't that also a red flag?
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I was like, so would you date a 40-year-old? You said, yeah, sure. I said,
I would date one, but I'm not so sure I would actually get in a relationship.
That's where it was going. I was like, so would you marry a 40-year-old?
For a good time, but not a long time. That's what I said.
Well, the point of the reason I asked was because I wanted to know, like, what's the intention behind dating?
Like I said, that's my standards, you know.
No, I mean intention. Like,
my intention is to actually develop, you know, I say that in my app, like, yo, I'm hoping it to grow into something more after we getting to know each other, you know, dating and, you know, I guess call it the interview stage or whatever. And if we're really into each other for, I guess, a certain amount of time, because what would you say for you is a good amount of time to say that, hey, this should be a relationship?
Depends, man. It depends on
individual, right?
The individual, yeah. Where she's at.
Where she's at, where you're at, right?
Well, if you're looking, you're at that point. Because at this stage, if you're looking to just hang out with some chick, then I would never say you need to be in a relationship. But if you're looking with intention to get married and have family and all that stuff, it really depends on who she is. Because if she's a 25-year-old,
I still believe you don't need to get married though.
well,
I mean, you can find a partner. Well, we're not going to go down that road.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. And this is based on you. Boundaries, standards, on your relationship.
Yeah.
With
my wife.
Has there anything been recent that, where you like have to lay down the law? Like, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
Not happening.
Yes. My wife.
If you want to. Explain,
yeah. I don't give a fuck. I love you. No. I'm very fortunate on multiple accounts in terms of my relationship, and we'll go over relationship stuff on a different podcast. But I'm fortunate in the sense that my wife was not American. She comes from Peru. She's from South America. Whole different culture, whole different way of being raised, whole different beliefs.
You hear that, men? You should go overseas to find your woman. Anyways, go ahead.
What's weird is I found my wife in Japan. I found a Peruvian in Japan. So if that ain't God, I'm not.
You went to my dream place that I want to go to.
Didn't you go to Japan?
No, I did not.
I thought you went to Japan.
I went to Thailand.
I
went to Thailand.
That's burgers and a Pizza Hut indeed.
Hey. I'm not gonna go down that.
We ain't gonna. Anyway,
the shows they show.
Whew. Okay, so to get back to your question, I'm very fortunate that my wife is who she is and how she was raised. Like she's not American, and she's kind of Americanized right now. But one thing that she's over time, because when we were first married, it was a bit rocky a little bit, you know what I mean? Because I won't get into it, but over time, we've gotten to a point where an argument lasts all of about 10 minutes. Anger towards each other lasts all of about 10, 15 minutes. And we just stopped giving a shit. Like we just stopped caring.
Sounds like marriage, huh?
Yeah. After a certain hump and you start trying new ways of coping and getting over things and working things out, what works for us is we stop caring. It's not important. You know what I mean? We'll argue like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon over something. Who knows, right? By 1 o'clock, we're like touching and fondling each other again, and because we don't care.
Right.
It's not. Who cares? It's not that important. I've gained weight. She's gained a little bit of weight. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But
you're doing it together.
Yeah.
You're doing it together.
It's like it's not a matter of what else is out there that's better, because it doesn't exist.
Right.
This whole idea of I can do better, and we're not happy right now. It's going to be the same way with everybody. It doesn't matter if you find a millionaire, or you find a poor guy, or you find a good looking woman or an ugly woman. You're going to argue. You're going to have your issues, and you're going to this and that. The point is you have to establish. Anyway, we'll get back to your question. Recently, my son we put them to bed, and he has his little toys in his bed, and he goes to sleep with his toys, right? When my wife went to check on him, he's in bed still like 20 minutes later playing with his toys. So my wife decides she wants to take the toys as a punishment. Like, you should be asleep. We got to wake up early in the morning. And then he starts throwing a bit of a fit because he's all about routine, and my son's autistic, so routine is a big deal with him. And she said something that she was going to do something with the toys that, she was like, throw it away or something. And as soon as I heard that she said that, I had my son, I said, because he was crying and he had, snot coming out of his nose. So I told him to go clean his nose. And I looked at her and I said, are you really going to throw his toys away? Because I know the answer is no. She said, no, I'm not going to throw his toys away. I said, why the hell would you say that? Like, why? What's the purpose of you saying if I ever told my son, if I ever told my son or told him that I was going to take a toy away, or I was going to, because I've done it before. If anything I say, I'm willing to do 100%. I don't bluff with my punishments. Mm-hmm. But if you're just saying stuff just to get a reaction or whatever you're trying to elicit from him, that's just cruel.
Yeah.
So I shut that shit down immediately. And she agreed with me. So it wasn't a back and forth thing. It irritated me, but like I said, after about 10 minutes, I didn't give a shit no more.
Are you a firm believer that men should definitely protect women from themselves?
Yes. Yes. I'm so happy you said that because I wanted to bring that up early on another topic we had, but 100%. 100%. Women, not in general, women typically are their own worst enemies.
Yeah.
And men who share that are typically raised by women. They're very feminine and they're very emotional. They're very blah, 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 whatever. Women make some of the worst decisions in terms of their personal life, their romantic life, their choices in life.
Work life, too.
Work life, all that stuff, right? And when it doesn't go right, they have that social net to bounce off of. Men do not. We don't have that social net to protect us from hitting that concrete ground. A woman can make 20 bad decisions and end up at flipping burgers. And then as long as she's cute, as long as she's a little quiet, got a nice waist, big breast, big butt, some rich dude will walk in and be like, who is that? I'm gonna save her. I'm gonna get her off that grill. Bring it to my 500 or my what is it? 5,000 square foot whatever house. Ain't no man doing that. Ain't no man flipping burgers gonna pull a rich woman.
Yo, you telling me Rihanna's not gonna come and save me?
She might if she was drunk.
The probability of that is 0.0001.
But to answer, yeah, I do believe, but not just any man though. To keep men accountable. Not just any man has the ability to save a woman from herself, because some men wouldn't even recognize she's harming herself.
Isn't that toxic though?
What's that?
Actually putting boundaries and standards on a woman.
Apparently.
I'm asking these questions because it needs to be asked.
No, it's not toxic unless you're like a Gen Zer. And then you have standards set for yourself and you have preferences that don't align with whatever the woman is that you're talking to. Yeah. I mean, again, toxicity is relative these days. There's no foundation of what is or what isn't toxic. It all comes down to feelings. And unfortunately, your feelings,
emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I swear to God, these buzzwords, bro.
Yeah, they're all made up, man. It's all like and how, in what way, how many more ways can there be developed to just destroy men?
I think we actually had a
toxic
podcast.
Masculinity.
We actually asked AI, how do you destroy man themselves?
Yeah, destroy the house, destroy masculinity, destroy all the positives that men bring to society, destroy it. And then that way the whole tower comes collapsing down. Men build the house, women facilitate the house, the kids are raised in the house, and they eventually take over the house under the tutelage of the parents, right? You take the father out of the house, now the woman's building the house, but women don't build houses, so now they need the kids to help. And now wait, that automatically doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? So it's nothing that a man can say today is able to go without being scrutinized by 50 people calling it something. A new name. A new name comes out every week. Like it's toxic masculinity, it's emotional intelligence. Oh, he's insecure, or he's all these things. Why do you want a woman that does XYZ? I don't do XYZ. It means I'm not a woman? No, it means I don't want you. Like, it means I don't want you. Like if being on these websites and showing your body is a part of your life, and I don't want a woman that does that, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means I don't want you.
Right. That's exactly how I treated dating apps. Because like I said, I actually do value my time, and I actually do value myself now. And that's what I told my friend. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not getting on this app no more. Yeah. This app is absolutely a walking red flag, man. And I'm sorry to say, I'm going to sit. Well, no, I'm not sorry. Fuck that. It's definitely it's not something.
It's not for you. Yeah.
It's not, I want to say it's not smart, bro. It's not. So I don't
not a
know.
good move,
I think
man.
I got to a point where I was actually, okay, well, I do want to start talking to someone. He's right. I should definitely start talking to these women. And maybe I could show them I'm a nice guy. I'm a
Right.
great guy. No, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. You know, I'm not a people pleaser. I actually do have boundaries and I have standards now. And if I see you full of tattoos, full of holes and places, I'm like, why? You know, and you know, the different color hairs, I'm more into natural beauty, and that's, I think, what most men mostly want. We want that girl next door in a sort of way, you know, but we understand we're not technically going to get that anymore because we're all in a whole new digital era. But
You know what's funny about that? The reason why we won't get the girl next door vibe anymore is because the girls who are the girl next door get attacked by who? Women. Men do not attack the girl next door. Men love the girl next door.
yeah,
Women can't stand the girl next door because
God,
the
that
girl next
fly
door
is going crazy, bro.
wants to be in the show, man.
Jesus Christ.
There he is.
Good. I need to put that blue light in here.
Yeah. The girl next door gets attacked by the women because the girl next door makes most women today look like under
It's
subpar,
not men
under
attacking
level.
women. It's more usually
It's
it's
women.
mostly women attacking women.
Right.
Right.
So men want the girl next door. Men want the girl
they
with
just
the
want
low.
someone to control. They just want. Oh, she is a
Shame.
what's the word that they use? She's a pick me. There you go.
Oh yeah, men love pick
She's a pick me. Yeah, we want the
Great.
pick-me's.
Where are they at? Where is she?
For real.
Her?
We definitely want the pick me's, and
Yeah, yeah.
they try their best. I guess. And I think they're women now. Lately, they're starting to see that it's what they should be doing. So they try to, you see them full of tattoos and,
Yeah.
you know, I guess they're trying to put on this traditional clothing on now. I guess, I don't know if you've seen videos like that, but they are not really technically,
They're not. No.
they're either trying to get the views or they're trying to get more attention back on them.
You've heard the phrase of conditional femininity.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like that drives, again, another made up term that I'll be feminine if I find the right man.
Yeah. He has
Like,
to,
that
he
drives
has
me
to put
crazy.
me in my place. I'm like, what?
Your daddy can't put you in your place and he raised you.
Is he still around? Like,
Yeah, like no. That conditional femininity, all this crap, man. Like I'll be feminine in the right circumstance, but if I have to use my masculine, like I'm out. Like I'm out. If I was single and I had an opportunity to choose between a conditional feminine woman and a feminine woman, I'm going feminine woman 100% of the time. I'm not doing this conditional femininity thing.
I don't even pick, because like I said, I actually, like I said, I do value myself, of course, but I am in my own, I actually understand my reality as well. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a thing that most men should definitely realize. Like, if you're picking this top woman, this woman as a 10, I guess you would say, or 9, let's just say above 6 or 7.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just say those are the biggest red flags to me, you know, because
The ones over 6s?
yeah, I mean, to me that I okay, well, I would say the finer she is, the more trouble I think you're going to end up having.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree to a certain extent, but yeah. The more
Okay,
attention
let me
she's
just
gonna-
tell you the reason
Go ahead,
why.
go ahead.
Let me tell you the reason why.
Go ahead.
Because that girl is getting all the attention.
Yep.
Okay. She's getting all the attention. And more than likely, if she knows that she's getting all that attention, more than likely she's probably thinking she should be up there with the guys who are also up there. Okay. That's the way of thinking. Okay. Because am I going to land a girl like that? Not technically. Why would I be able to land a girl like that? Okay.
A lot of factors, but I get what you're saying. But there's a lot of
I think they're the biggest
you can
red flags
dissect it and
because
make an argument.
and maybe when you see them and they're in these bikinis and they're on these trips and stuff like that, that tells me that they already have all kinds of different experiences.
Yeah.
You're probably like, where are you going with it? Like,
Go on.
but yeah, but yeah, I just think that trying to get a top 10 girl is just, it's not my reality.
So
because I think they would end up having way more red flags.
So you're talking like
than the mid girl. The mid girl is probably the most pick for me than the top 10.
So you're talking
top 10.
like a 7 to 10 in terms of just physical beauty.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what women are valued. It's usually their beauty first, right?
It doesn't always work out. Based on what you're saying, it doesn't always work out that
when
way.
Men approach a woman, what is the number one reason why?
Well, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but what I'm saying is men do typically go after the better looking ones first, but that tends to, based on, and I agree with you, based on what you just said, like the ones who are the prettier ones, especially nowadays.
Those are the ones you should be looking out for.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are the ones that tend to have the most situations because now they're getting attention from that guy, that guy. The reason why I say it depends is because it's not about what she looks like that is going to cause you all the issues. It's more, it will, but it's more about what goes on in there.
Right.
The mentality, the mindset, how she was raised. Was she raised with a father? Was she raised with both parents? Whatever, right? So that's the only reason I had a little,
okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason I said it
sense.
depends.
Yeah.
So it's not the shell of the computer. It's the hardware. How does it operate?
Yeah.
Does she care about followers on Instagram? Does she care about retweets? Does she care about subscribers? Does she have a following? How many people are sliding in her DMs? You know what I mean?
That's the most likely case when it comes down to them.
Yeah,
right?
True. I would say
especially in this
especially
digital
today,
era,
exactly. Yeah. So when you said, can I find a 10 and am I likely to find, like, are you likely?
The probability is going to be hella low.
Low. Yeah. But again, you don't have to see, I got lucky.
I'm pretty sure. I think you're right. I guess it does depend on location. Because you can go overseas. You can definitely find yourself
But the dangers of doing all that passport bro stuff is them girls know y'all are coming.
Yeah.
Them girls know. They ain't stupid.
Yeah.
They know, ooh, I'm going to give me an American. He's looking for some whatever.
Yeah, we definitely don't, how you say it, advertise or advocate. There you go. That's the word I was like, advocate.
They know
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, they know what's going on. They know the drill.
Yeah. Please be careful if you do choose to do that.
Mom and dad told them about that mom told them about that a long time ago. But it really overall, I mean, it really comes down to our standards and our boundaries. If you find a woman, fellas, if you find a woman out there and she's disrespecting or going outside of your boundaries and she's not respecting your standards that you've set, you have to be verbal with it too.
Yeah. When is the best time to do that though?
From the very beginning.
Do you think most men do that?
No. I think
they get soaked up so fast into saying, I can have this girl. Oh my God. Yeah. I'll do anything that she wants me to do. And I can say I can take some accountability. I've been known to do that. I think I've done that probably like 3-4 relationships.
Dude, I was a hopeless romantic for the better part of the first 20 years of my life. I was a hopeless romantic.
Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can take a good look at me and be like, oh, yeah, this guy was definitely a S word. I'm like, yeah, I was. I got to admit, I was definitely that guy.
Yeah. I have my years. No, but I was a hopeless romantic for a long time, man, because all I knew about relationships was Boyz II Men songs and movies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, baby, please, I love you. Forgive me.
I think I told you that. Like, yo, if you listen to most of these songs back in the day, these R&B songs and all that.
They're all simping.
Yeah.
They're all simpy songs.
I mean, I understand, money sells and stuff.
But at the time, though, I mean, there was a reason why they did it. Most public didn't understand because we didn't have all the access to internet and stuff. The reason they did it is because they knew women would buy them. Mm-hmm. And men wanted to be in tune with what women like, so men would do it. You know what I mean? So, but today,
it's a narrative.
But there's a reason why R&B is dead, and I mean that shit. R&B is dead.
I love it when I look at profiles and they say R&B, and I was like,
"What the hell is that?" Ribs and biscuits, like they ain't no music. But no, ribs and biscuits.
I just listened. I just heard that part. I never heard that term before. Ribs and biscuits.
R&B is dead. But from it, when I was younger, I would listen to that music and I'm like, wow, how awesome it must be to want to sing this song to another, to a girl, you know, to a woman, and to be in love.
We were dancers, man. We were trying to get the woman.
Well, you know, that was more of a sexual thing. But I mean, but we never danced to Boys to Men, you know. We never danced to the Temptations and all these the singers, you know, not the Genuines and the Ushers. That's when R&B started to die. Like, we didn't know it was on its way to death. Yeah, Usher and Genuine were like one of the last ones in Cisco. They were like one of the last R&B artists.
Cisco.
Right?
Lord.
Right.
What happened to him? He just disappeared, bro.
Hey, man, I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. But
rumors.
That was when R&B started, because that's when R&B started to really shift into hip hop. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, R&B is just heard in the hooks of rap songs. And then R&B's gone. You have your Chris Browns, but not Chris Brown's, Chris Brown.
Chris Brown kind of like converted straight to rap, didn't he?
He's basically I would never want to limit Chris Brown. That dude's awesome. Mm-hmm. But R&B's dead. You know, R&B's gone. There's no more R&B. It's all a different, it's like singing rappers now. That's basically what R&B is today. If it's anything. Anyway, I was a hopeless romantic for a long time because all I knew was just the romantic songs and the movies and the TV and stuff. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I actually experienced relationships, quote unquote relationships, that I actually realized that all that, it's all bullshit. All that lovey-dovey, I'll sacrifice my life. Everything I do for you, baby. If it's all you, fuck that, man. Like, I have a life too. You know, I have goals and things I want to. I'm not going to sacrifice my life for some woman who won't, you know, don't give a shit about me.
Right.
So, when you asked at what point should you do that, that depends as well. If you're a highly successful mogul making millions of dollars and you meet some chick, you can tell her everything right then and there at the very beginning, and she'll fall in line. Most likely. Yeah. But if you're
right now, she's probably thinking like, oh, well, this might be a rare opportunity to get a guy like this.
If she has a good head on her shoulders, sure. But
the hardware,
if the software is set up correctly, she'll get it. You know what I mean? And say, you know what, he's a good guy. Obviously, he'd have to be for her to be interested in him. Hopefully. But if you're stacking, you know, ice at 7-Eleven and you happen to go on a date with a girl, you might want to give her a little personality first and let her know and show her, I am a good guy.
Charming, charismatic.
Right. Yeah. That's where you gotta compensate for all the things you don't have. Yeah.
So I guess you would say that hook her first. See if you can hook her. And then once the relationship starts,
but at that point, at that point, you can't have a whole lot of demand. Yeah, you ain't got a whole lot of leverage. Yeah. You know, if you're the guy that what's that at the car wash, and you just, hey folks, how you doing? Go ahead, press that thing. Come on in. All right, have a good day. If you're that guy and that's your only way of making money, you don't have a whole lot of leverage in the dating game. So you might want to follow the woman, you know, so elevate yourself.
I think that's one of the things I was telling, you know, the guy that was telling me about these apps. I was like, I don't think I'm in a position to talk to anybody right now, man. I mean, so, you don't know, man. You don't know. She might actually support you. I'm like, man, what world are you in right now?
Just that.
Have you seen these women out there? They're savages, man. Bro, they will eat you alive.
I got lucky. I'm not saying my wife ever supported me, but I got lucky with a woman who, you know, she grew up in the fucking slums of Peru. You know what I mean? So yeah, sure, she had preferences. She didn't want to continue living that way. You know, she wanted these nice things or those nice things, but I 100% believe that if things went from bad to worse in terms of our living conditions, I don't think she would leave. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've seen your family, man. I was like, you guys have he's an ironed family, man. Yeah. That's why I like to think when I see you guys, man.
So you never know, man. You might get lucky. I mean, there are, I don't know any, but I guarantee there's women out there that couldn't care less about how much money a guy makes. Unfortunately, because of society and because of the internet, and they're lower, lesser and lesser as you go by.
Yeah, they call it the extremism that's going on, man. Yeah, and I was like, I think that's one of the biggest fears that I have is going out there. And I'm a driver. I'm kind of in between jobs right now, and I mean, I'm you know, I like to work out and I like to, you know, I got some attributes. I'm a
Bro.
still young looking, you know, but
don't you?
what?
Isn't one of your nephews got all types of girls?
No.
I thought you said.
I mean, he can pull them, but I've seen the quality he pulls though.
Gotcha.
He can pull them. I got to admit, I was like, yo, the confidence is usually great, man. But I started realizing
after the smoke disappears,
yeah,
they see the behind the curtain. They're not impressed.
They're not, yeah. And they're not really that impressed. I started realizing he's finding women lower or maybe just
at his
level.
Yeah.
And that's why I said in my reality, I understand my reality now, you know, and I'm not saying I'm going to pick a girl lower than me and I'll be able to control or whatever or anything like that. And yeah, like I said, another thing is that, you know, standards and boundaries. It's not about being controlling. It's just like, yo, this is about what I feel as this is going to progress this relationship to a healthy relationship.
Yeah. All right. We're already at the hour mark.
All right.
Anything else you want to say before we head out?
Yeah, we were supposed to only do 30 minutes?
Man, you know what?
Hey, it was a good subject, man.
This whole time thing, let's just abandon that. We gonna talk.
All right.
We gonna say things.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Like I said, standards and boundaries. It's not a, you know, I think when it comes down to like the whole toxic masculinity and masculinity, they kind of tend to overlap in a sort of way, but there's no way of saying, oh, he's controlling, oh, he's insecure. No, it's just that, again, we're protectors. You know, we tend to want to protect our women from themselves. And therefore we know what's best to make this relationship healthy. You know, that's just,
yeah.
When it comes down to, like I said, I think we covered, work, we cover family, cover friends,
relationships.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah, man. So I would close out and say that there are good men out there that know exactly what they want. There's women out there that know what they want, and sometimes they match and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
It's up to you to figure out what's what, and the sooner the better.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. In terms of our topic, our standards and our boundaries.
Know your value. Know what you want.
Know your value. Know the things that you benefit people with,
mm-hmm.
and know the things that you struggle with or you need help with, and then leverage that value. Don't let people tell you what to do that you can't sway or, you know, market or something like that. You know, you gotta know how to take what you're good at, put it into the market, and get your value back.
Right.
You know, that's work.
And don't be extreme about it. Ladies, stop being extreme. Like, no.
If you think about it, all women really have is what's in between their legs.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what men want.
But unfortunately, that's all what most men want.
I mean,
and that the only thing what I meant by that was the only thing that women leverage out out with men is what's in between them. That's what I meant.
No, but what about their mind? What about their
their
career?
What about their mind? You think
I'm a boss man, boss lady. I said boss man, boss lady.
Who cares? Like, no, men don't care. When was the last time a woman was in a club and she got picked up by guys and say, yo, sweet thing, what you do for work? What position you got at the firm?
You CEO?
You CEO? What kind of degree we talking about? An associate?
Oh, man. You got no bachelor's? Masters?
You ain't got no master's degree? Get the fuck out my face.
I'm out.
Yeah, you know, I would love to see that though. Like, yo, hey.
What kind of world we live in?
Yo, little mama, hey, you looking good, girl. Let me ask you a question. What's your 401k looking like? What kind of returns we talking about? Like what were you partnering in something? Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I know I'm being animated, but I mean,
I'm trying to do some Netflix and chill. I'm trying to do some Amazon, get into the jungle. I'm trying to Hulu to the YouTube.
Was you Magnum Cum Laude? What we talking about? Like, I don't mess with no nasty chicks, bro. It has to be Magnum Cum Laude. Dean's List.
Oh shit, bro.
That ain't never been said in a man's mouth ever. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the Man First podcast. Hope y'all had a good time. I know we talked about a lot. You can find us again on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. We're working on some other stuff as well. We want to get some guests on the show, so if you are interested, please let us know. We'll send you all the information that you need. and we'll get you on here. If you can't be here in person, we can get you on Zoom or whatever the thing is nowadays. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it, man.
All right. I am Mix.
I'm J0.
See y'all next time.
Peace.